we go. Yeah, my name's Chuck Benton. I'm from a company, Technology Systems. We're located up in Maine. And going to go over a little bit of company background. What I really came to talk about was a product that we've got in the works for recreational boaters. But to lead up to that, I'm going to show some of the work that we've done in the past with the military, some of the products that we now have on the market that are specifically targeted for that community. And that'll sort of set the stage for the product that I really want to talk about, which is called SmartChart AIS. Company profile, small business, have been working with the military since '87. I stumbled into the video game business before that. We work with distributed common operational picture, which is a fancy military way of saying social networks for military purposes. Augmented reality, we've been involved with that since '93. Smartphone apps, unmanned systems, etc. As I mentioned, I stumbled into the video game business in '81. In '87, I was brought over by DARPA to apply what they termed arcade-level technology to military training. And then from there, around 2002, switched into augmented reality with a focus on maritime and naval applications. That has now brought us to several different products, different product lines, and today we're pretty much switching much more into a product-focused as opposed to R&D-focused company. This video is of an amphibious assault vehicle. These guys they drive out of the back of a ship and then have to navigate up to the shore. They get turned around. They really have huge problems coming in. They literally clear a 1,500-meter wide area for them to make the transit in. This started as a DARPA seedling in 2002, and it now is transitioning to into the fleet. 1,168 vehicles are going to be getting this. And you'll note here, it's pulling out onto the beach in the exact same spot. They all come up in the exact same spot. So now, for mine clearing and all those sorts of operations, they clear a much narrower lane. And it's much more precise. It's really, it's changing the way things are going. And this is a pure augmented reality app. The routes are created by other systems. The hardware that's involved is already existing. We're just adding one more software layer. The system supports, it's got a plug-in architecture, so we're involved with a lot of other systems. The upper left is a underwater diver detection system, which we can feed out to boats in a harbor where they are. Next one is to the right, the LiDAR sensor senses where things are underwater, and we'll paint that. We hook up with UAVs, the UUV tracks, those are little submersible submarines, and radar's the last one. So this app ended up spawning another one called Mapping and Visualization Real-Time Collaboration System. Every military system needs an acronym, so we have MAVRCS. Anyways, it provides maps, charts, all kinds of GIS information, including an augmented reality capability that's into that. It also hooks in with mission planners. You can do some mission planning yourself on PCs. Blue force tracking, so you know where everybody else is, they know where you are. Sharing operational picture stuff, so you can know no fire zones, where the bad guys are, etc. And then messages and sensors also. We'll hook over a commercial network or over custom military stuff, and everything's encrypted. Lots of different configurations for everything from vehicles to dismount people to aircraft and whatnot. You can see on the right upper, we'll run on smartphones, your PC, or a full-blown militarized spec, mil-spec PC. Software options on the Android, on the PC, MAVRCS 3D is the augmented reality capability. We sell a couple different sensor packages you can see pictured on the bottom. One of them is basically a little suction cup. Costs about $1,000. It has camera, orientation sensor, GPS, and everything in it. The one next to that is the $35,000 thermal imager that's mil-spec and so forth and so on. These are a couple screenshots from a recent exercise. There was a spot, the little red spot you see in the middle is where a G20 style meeting is being simulated, and the exercise focused on there being a potential for a terrorist attack there. We set up several overwatches, several patrol areas. Various participants, everything from militarized systems permanently installed in vehicles to we had a rental car that basically you bring a laptop into, and the little low-cost sensor plug in, and literally in about 5 minutes you're up and you can be your roving command center. We also had it on boats, both small and large, and several dismount folks that are patrolling right outside the immediate area with iPhones. Had a rear operations center and an off-site intel analysis center. Here's some screen captures. You can see in the upper left users that are online are green, or they're red if they're offline. You can see where various participants are. There's chatting going back and forth, sharing of zones, etc. This is a cell sheet. I've got a stack of them if you want any. But anyways, this is now a product. It's GSA listed. Various people are using it. So it's transitioned. Once again, this is something that's no longer a science fair project. It's out there in the real world. And one of the key things about it is having the augmented reality capability really sets us apart from the typical Lockheed Martin products that are out there. I'm doing good on time. So anyways, what I really want to talk about is a product called SmartChart AIS. Now, AIS stands for Automatic Identification System, and all high seas ships are mandated to use AIS equipment. And essentially, it's a GPS and a VHF radio, and it broadcasts that you're a freighter and you're coming from Europe and going into Boston, and where you are, what your speed is, what you have on for cargo, and so forth and so on. It was originally developed as a collision avoidance system, but the Coast Guard, Custom Borders Protection folks, they all love it because they can see who's coming in and vet who they want to pay attention to and who they think's okay and doesn't need that sort of attention. So Department of Homeland Security was looking at this and said, you know, it'd be wonderful if everybody had these. Problem is it's expensive, and also the VHF bandwidth just wouldn't support all the boats that are out there. So they put out a request for proposals, and we looked at it and said, you know, chances are if you own a recreational boat, you own a smartphone. So we can pretty much do everything an AIS system would do, but do it using a smartphone. And so in essence, it boils down to the boaters. They really do want to know where they are, who's around them. They don't want to get run over by the ferry or the freighter that's coming into the area. The government also, you know, they're the source of all the electronic charts, so forth and so on. So we're working with them and essentially creating this product that's going to hand out, give everybody charts for free. It'll create a automatic identification system that's bidirectional, so you'll be able to see who's around you. Locate friends, so forth and so on. We've got the augmented reality capability built into it, and a social networking capability built into it. And we're looking at a fall release on this. Here's some screenshots from the prototype. You can see we've got charts. We're able to bring in electronic nautical charts, but also all the other usual products, you know, Bing Maps, so forth and so on. It's being driven by ArcGIS Explorer, product of Esri. That essentially means that we can also plug into a whole lot of other data sources, examples being there. We can get real-time radar. We can get places that might be closed for small craft warnings, so forth and so on, fishery zones, their status, etc. AIS, the surrogate capability that we're creating, we're now proposing that as an international standard, which is going to be called AIS Class E. There's already a Class A and B. Actually, 2 weeks from now, I'm speaking in Italy to NATO and starting the process of getting international adoption. But in essence, it's going to create the same data stream that you get with AIS, but a bunch of additional information. One of the really interesting areas that we're involved in is with a database provided by a company called ActiveCaptain. In the old days, if you went and chartered a boat, you'd go and get a cruising guide and use that cruising guide to figure out where the fuel docks were, so forth and so on. This is a live database. They're allowing us, or we're taking that data, and now when you go into a port, you're going to see, be able to look and see where the fuel docks are, where your friends might be anchored, et cetera, et cetera. And then, of course, augmented reality capability in it. And social networking, so you'll be able to, if you're out on the weekend, you pull up your friends list, you find out who's on the water, where they are, et cetera. From a commercialization perspective, we're going to be giving this away for free. But we're following the, I guess one could call it the Facebook model of getting lots and lots of users, and then there's lots of other ways to make money. Some of the things that we're looking at are plug-in apps that add additional capability for things like fishing tournaments, SDKs, since this is going to be out in the public domain, supporting other people to hook up to it. We're going to be operating servers for this, and derivative products. Custom Border Protection has approached us, and they want us to add a capability. So if you're on your boat coming over from the Bahamas, you can clear customs as you get within cell range. So from our perspective, last slide here, one of the things is that augmented reality, it's out there now. It's in the process of being adopted by the fleet, going into permanent installation on stuff that'll be around for the next 30 years. We also have systems now, GSA listed, so forth and so on. And then SmartChart is taking this technology and bringing it out to a much wider range of users. We expect several 100,000 downloads pretty much within a month or so of launch. And then there's all sorts of other capabilities. That's it. We've looked at doing automobile navigation systems. We've prototyped that, but this business model is quite different from the one that we've used with the military. So we're kind of taking one step at a time in that direction. But also we've been looking at, well, for instance, in the tourism industry, having apps so that if you go on a cruise ship, you get the app, and now the cruise ship knows where you are. You know what the schedule is, if there's changes and this, that, and the other thing. You know, you can sign up for tours, and you can order pina coladas.
Between like location and visual data, what's the breakdown? Like, what do you use more of?
For the most part, the information that we have, we carry a lot of information on board, or it's served out of our servers. But part of the power of all of it is having the network capability, so that you can see where other people are. So there's a whole, there's 3 different servers actually that are handling all of that data, and some of it's the dynamic stuff that's coming in off the net, and others is the more static stuff, like where a navigational buoy is. Great.